The Employment Rights Tribunal rules in favor of former NCC workers. 18 Calypsonians about to do battle to see who'll make it to the Pickety Crop finals. And in sports, no Barbadian team remains as Antigua and Canada make the Sir Gary Schools final.
The CBC Headline News, brought to you by Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Very good evening, I'm Lisa Broom. In an historic decision, the Employment Rights Tribunal has ruled in favor of more than 100 workers who were sent home by the National Conservation Commission just over 2 years ago. The decision was handed down by Chairman of the ERT, Queen's Counsel Hal Gollop, at the Warren's office of the Labour Department. Shane Seeley was at the hearing.
There was a loud applause from those gathered for today's hearing of the Employment Rights Tribunal to hear the Chairman Hal Gollop hand down his decision.
Having reviewed the evidence taken in this matter and analyzed the submissions of counsel, the tribunals find that there was in fact circumstances within the NCC that forced it to adopt the institution of redundancy measures at the corporation. The NCC, however, while executing the said measures, failed to give effect to the statutory requirement of consultation and was unable to demonstrate that during the process of carrying out the redundancy of the complainants, it applied the last in first out principle objectively and fairly. This being the case, the tribunal finds that the complainants were unfairly dismissed.
This ruling applied to the cases of QT Lynch and 93 other NCC workers represented by the National Union of Public Workers, and Anderson Chase and 25 other NCC employees represented by the Barbados Workers Union, ERT 2014 cases 063 and 064 respectively. In his final submission, the ERT chairman went on to explain why reinstatement of the retrenched workers or re-engagement between them and the NCC was not the answer. He said the evidence taken in this matter indicated that those options would not be practical at this time, given the reason for the redundancy measures at the Commission. Mr. Gollop says close to 120 workers would instead have to be compensated. Now, the compensation was awarded to workers in line with their tenure at the NCC. They were also awarded additional damages in accordance with the Employment Rights Act to mitigate their losses.
The tribunal, in accordance with its statutory duty, makes an award of 52 weeks as adequate compensation in the circumstances.
The NUPW and the BWU now have to meet with the NCC to thrash out how and when the compensation will be paid. Chairman Gollop made it clear that the tribunal would have to be informed of the outcome of those deliberations.
The tribunal orders accordingly.
Shane Seeley, CBC News.
Well, both the National Union of Public Workers and the Barbados Workers Union want the issue of compensation settled with the NCC as soon as possible to avoid any further hardships for retrenched workers, most of whom are still unemployed. BWU General Secretary Tony Moore described the tribunal's decision as bittersweet. She says while it serves justice to the union's claims of unfair dismissal, she's taken issue with the level of compensation under the Employment Rights Act.
There's a clear limitation as it relates to the award that can be granted. The award maxes out at 52 weeks, and that is the maximum award which the tribunal granted in both cases, the NUPW matter and the BW matter, plus severance. If we are understanding that workers have been unemployed for the last 106 weeks plus, then that award of 52 weeks plus severance obviously still has some gaps.
NUPW General Secretary Roslyn Smith has also called for the issue of compensation to be settled with haste.
The decision to compensate the workers 52 weeks, we would have now to look at the quantum and find out how soon these monies will be paid over. Because if you're looking at the economic situation, to say in terms of not reinstating, then you should try to make sure that you have the funds given the long suffering by these workers. And I'm heartened in the sense that today it brought some kind of closure in one instance, but we still have to look at those persons because they still remain unemployed.
The stage is set for the MQI Mount Gay Pick-a-Day Crop Calypso Monarch semi-finals at the National Stadium. Our Lisa Lord is there. Lisa?
Good evening, Lisa. And as I talk to you, Observer is on stage at the moment with the classic song, Cat Attack. Now, we're here at the Wilde Gymnasium as you know, the Wilde Gymnasium is under renovations at the moment. That's why we're here at the National Stadium. 18 Sonians, they're expected to sing their hearts out. They're doing 2 songs each. That's a total of 36 performances in all. 36 solid performances, we're hoping. Now, I had the chance to speak to Aja, who's the producer of the Pick-a-Day Crop competition, and he told me that the semi-finals are the traditional home of Calypso. That's how producer of the Pick-a-Day Crop competition, Aja, is describing the move back to the National Stadium. So it's no surprise that this year's theme for the semi-finals is back to the track. Aja says the stadium is one of the best locations for such a competition.
It allows for that intimacy, that's one, but also a natural flow where you could eat, you could drink, you could talk about the calypsos as they're being sung, and you're not disturbing anyone. In the gymnasium, you know, you can eat in the gymnasium, you can drink, you know, you have to stay still when the performers are on stage and so on. Here is a freer setting, and therefore it was considered home, because this is where you hear serious arguments as some person is performing or just performing and so on. So it would be that sort of vibe here again.
Tonight's semi-finals is historic for several reasons, as it's the first time so many women will be in the competition. A grand total of 7.
The strange thing is that Blood have a song talking about female calypsonians, and they call all the names. And this year, for the first time, we have this situation where 7 female calypso singers are here, right? And I hope the women of Barbados come out to support these ladies, right? You know, all they have very strong calypsos.
And 4 junior monarchs, in addition to a junior monarch finalist, will also be vying for a place in the finals. But this comes as no surprise to Aja.
The NCF Junior Monarch program is fastly becoming the foundation of traditional calypso in Barbados in terms of its future. So there's a lot of good things happening right here at the National Stadium.
Well, we caught up with some of the female semi-finalists during their rehearsals. Reigning junior monarch in the 13 to 18 category, Adila of the All-Stars Calypso tent, is excited to reach the big stage in her first year. She credits the training she received during the junior monarch contest for her growth as a Calypsonian.
In terms of performing, they helped me a lot, because when I first started performing, I wasn't shy, but I just couldn't express myself really well on stage, and I was a little timid, and in terms of interpreting words and so on, I learned to do that in the competition.
Jamal Slocum, or J Slow, a former junior monarch finalist, will also be on this stage for the first time, and he is also performing first. He is one of 6 Calypsonians who will be flying the big show flag, but says he is calm and confident.
I am not fearful. I am confident, just trying to get myself, all my thoughts together, focusing on my lyrics, focusing on my arrangements, my musical and vocal execution. But otherwise, I'm confident, and I want to thank all my supporters. Everybody's been so supportive so far.
Some of the more seasoned artists will be pulling out all the stops. TC is no stranger to this level of competition at all, and will be trying to secure her place in the finals.
I'm ready. This is just a process, really and truly, and the process hasn't changed. You prepare yourself, you get your rest, and you do what you have to do when the lights turn on, basically, and that's it.
Now, Lisa, we are expecting the session to end at about midnight, and we should have the results by about 1 or shortly after. That's when we'll know who the 9 finalists will be seeking to dethrone the current Calypso monarch of Barbados, Classic. Lisa, you've been working with me for about a decade now. You know, every year around this time, I always say I want to be a backup singer. I was trying to get Eleanor Rice, but she was on stage just now. So it's back to you in the studio here from the National Stadium.
Thank you very much, Lisa. And to think I was about to declare you ready for Stray Cats as you wanted to go. Our Lisa Lord at the National Stadium. Our government is looking to assign a higher priority to medical research in Barbados. This from Health Minister John Boyce. He says research is critical and plays a fundamental role in the advancement of the health sector in any developed society. Speaking today during the 16th annual Professor E.R. Walron Scientific Symposium at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Minister Boyce stressed that government is examining the idea of having institutional collaborations between the QEH and the University of the West Indies, specifically in the area of medical research.
The Ministry of Health acknowledges the importance of research and therefore continues to be supportive of the University of the West Indies initiative to assign a high priority to research new developments, including the introduction of the Principles of Research course in the undergraduate curriculum and structured research modules in the Doctors of Medicine and Masters of Public Health programs.
There's more news coming up after the break. Stay with us.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network, more than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial *153# to sign up to Digicel today.
Sandals, sandals, sandals galore. Megville gives you ladies sandals for this week only. Monday to Saturday, one pair of sandals for only $25. So go to Megville on Tudor Street, High Street and Palmetto Street for a pair of sandals for only $25. This week only, Monday to Saturday. Megville for good shoes at good prices on always.
Since its inception, the CBTF has committed Barbados $14 million to train and certify 4,000 workers in technical and vocational education. 17 businesses and 8 associations have already benefited. Will you be next? The CBTF has launched a 4th competitive cycle. Apply for funding to train your employees. Applications are now open and will close on July 29, 2016. Find out more by logging on to www.cbtf.com.br for more details or by calling 227-9090. Imagine your business being better, more competitive, more efficient with an employee training grant from the CBTF, the Competency-Based Training Fund, investing in skills for the future.
It's time for Bacchanal Time, twice as nice. Bacchanal Time presents the very best of Popover. 2 big shows, Wednesday, July 27th and Thursday, July 28th at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center. Featuring Bryna, RPB, Mr. Dale, Marvin, Peter Ram, Biggie Irie, the Bashman King, Steffi, Lil Rick, Mad, the comedy of Raman Cork and Trevor Eastman, and a whole lot more. Tickets now $70.
A former head of the Child Care Board is defending the state entity, which in recent times has come in for heavy criticism over handling of some publicized cases. David Joey Harper says the Child Care Board has worked hard to provide a conducive environment for the development and care of children and is not a negligent entity. He admits mistakes may have been made, but states this happens with parents as well.
You'll be surprised to know that I can give you instances where a mother came to the Child Care Board and threw a 1.5-year-old child, threw the child on the bench in the front office at the reception officer's bench. You could take it any other way no more. Now, the officers went out of their way to ensure that that child had good treatment. I can tell you other incidents, but I'll just tell you another where a parent left their child in the road, a child in a pram alongside the road.
And the Barbados Agricultural Development and Marketing Corporation, or BADMC, is following through on its plans to come up with innovative products using cassava. That's according to Chief Executive Officer Sean Tudor. He recently unveiled one of the corporation's newest products.
The cassava colada. Who would believe that you could actually make a sorbet, make ice cream from the cassava? And that's exactly what we did. And it took us just 3 months from the concept to go through with this. This was a 3-month project. And what you now have here is a dairy-free, gluten-free product. And it's great tasting, and the price is very much on par and in line with the other local products.
Well, still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region. Stay with us.
The ultimate adventure begins at Courts. For every $100 spent, you get a chance to win a trip for 4 to Universal Studios, a Samsung 55-inch curved TV, or one of 5 S7 handsets. Plus, buy any Samsung TV for a chance to win a 65-inch curved TV. Purchase one of our featured audio systems for a chance to win a PlayStation 4, or your purchase free. Shop with Ready Finance and pay nothing down for 30 days. Join the adventure only at Courts. Bringing value home.
It's gonna be a big blue summer.
The Big Blue Summer Celebration with Flow is here. Make yours unforgettable. Sign up for big bundle savings. Build your essential bundle and save big money. Blow out the candles on Barbados' 50th and Flow's first Big Blue birthday celebration. To win big prizes including $10,000 in cash. Big-time sports coverage at home or on the go with Flow TV, like the Olympic Games in Rio and the new home of Premier League football. Watch it all with big data and big style on the fastest 4G network. The world's biggest sporting events this summer are all on Flow. The Big Blue Summer Celebration is here, and Flow is your official partner. This is how we flow.
They say it takes hands to build a house, but only hearts can build a home. So, what does your heart tell you? Does it tell you velvet red or eggshell blue? Modern and sleek or breezy and cool? Whatever your heart desires for home building or home living, you can find it with us, Barbados Lumber Company.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Junior Calypsonians have something to say. Extra, extra, read all about it. Hot topics at the Scotiabank Junior Calypso Monarch Finals in association with IGM Stage Lighting. Extra, extra.
On Saturday, July 23rd at 7 p.m., the Junior Calypso Monarch finalists will ignite the stage at Kensington Oval with a range of hot topics as they vie for the Scotiabank Junior Calypso Monarch Crown. Tickets are $25 for adults, $15 for children ages 4 to 12. Available from all crop-over box offices and online at ticketpal.com. Log on to www.ncf.bb for more details. Purchase a ticket for any NCF event and have an opportunity to win a piece of the rock. Come for over.
Police in Jamaica are investigating the murder of a female security guard at the tax registration number building by a male colleague. He later committed suicide. Police have not released details of the incident, but media reports said the unidentified man had asked his co-workers to take him to the location where the woman was posted and engaged her in a brief conversation before shooting her. He then shot himself. The incident has led to the closure of the building, and Tax Administration Jamaica is seeking counseling for the workers. Police in Guyana are continuing their investigations into the content of a leaked email about a racket.
Even as the police investigate the content of that leaked email, allegedly dispatched by former Deputy CEO of GPL, Ishwar Dunarain, Minister with responsibility for GPL, David Patterson, has doubts about the authenticity of the email. He had briefed Cabinet about this on Wednesday.
Has Cabinet been briefed by Minister Patterson on a possible racket at GPL?
Minister Patterson did in fact brief Cabinet, and that indicated also that that they were taking this position. In fact, some preliminary investigation had been done, and that the matter had been handed over to the police for further investigation. The sense that we got from the brief was that it seems to have been the email address had been a fake or made up.
However, the government is not taking lightly the content of the email. The email refers to how former GPL acting CEO Colin Welch was set up by Dunarain and his cabal, a GPL, to be fired. It also exposes a prepaid meter racket, which has been happening for some time now at the power company. Minister of State Joseph Harmon asserts that the content of the email are damning and the government is looking at it.
In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, mourners at the funeral of a 35-year-old woman who died suddenly were in shock after the pastor ordered the dead woman to get up. Apostle Samuel Young was delivering the sermon when he instructed the pallbearers to open the coffin, order the corpse to get up and come forth, and waited for the dead woman to do as he bid. Well, this brought a halt to the proceedings as those attending the funeral service waited to see what would happen. Well, the woman, she didn't get up. Sports news is just ahead, but first, here is a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
If you're driving a commercial vehicle, it is likely that you will be subject to a lower speed limit. Make sure you know what that limit is. This tip is brought to you in association with the Barbados Road Safety Association.
Countdown to 50.
Yes, families, this is Seth at Selberville. Entertainer, artist, musician, which is the same thing, but he just repeated twice in case you couldn't hear me. Right now we have 138 years left until independence. So that means 50 years Barbados, we both here heavy, extra heavy.
Countdown to 50.
Peoples, we still just got